What's up, my spectators, Spec here. You can call me Miss Nightmare, fan, Scary Actor, Mr. Scared fan, or Scary Stories fan, because it's time for my reaction to... try to see if I can... position this... reaction to... hang on, I'm trying to position this good. I guess I'm gonna have to hold it. Two disturbing horror stories by Mr. Nightmare. So let's go on with the shall we?
My friend Brian and I used to be big on urban exploration, especially in the dark. About a half-hour drive away from our houses is an old hospital / asylum that's been abandoned for decades. It hasn't been torn down because it's in a really secluded location and it would just cost too much money. Brian and I wanted to bring a Ouija board along with us and explore it one Thursday night. Pulling into the unlit parking lot and seeing the massive structure standing
Why would you do that?
Night, even we were having second thoughts. Gangs were known to hide out in this.
Hey, why would you do that? Bringing a Ouija board to an abandoned hospital? Come on.
Building, or at least that's been rumored.
Like, come on.
Surprisingly, there.
I'm like, please don't do that. Like,
there didn't seem to be any security patrolling the perimeter. So
wow.
The process of getting in was pretty easy.
Wow.
We found a broken window that seemed to have been made into a common entryway by other urban explorers and delinquents.
Interesting.
Brian and I have a lot of experience exploring abandoned structures at night, and admittedly, even we were creeped out by this building. We made our way to the highest floor and did a little exploring up there. There were so many holes in the floor that our confidence in the structure holding our weight was low. The floors were creaky and soft in certain spots, and there were rooms that led into dark nothingness. Every time I'd shine my light down into one of them, I'd have the haunting thought of someone or something being inside one of them. We found a good spot to set up the Ouija board and candles. Yeah, we went all out with this. When the candles were lit, Brian and I placed our hands on the planchette and began our attempt at communicating with some kind of spirits. We weren't really the type to joke around with it, so we weren't pushing it around ourselves just to mess with each other. However, the planchette didn't move the whole time. Maybe that was because our Ouija board session was interrupted when we heard a creaking noise coming from inside one of the dark open rooms nearby. It wasn't just a fluke noise. It was a steady, consistent creaking, once every 1 or 2 seconds.
I know what you mean, dude. Get out of there.
Brian and I quietly packed up our stuff, and he whispered to me to go shine the light inside of the room.
Why would you do that?
I whispered he's got to be crazy. What if gang members were in there?
I know, right?
Brian whispered, forget it, I'll do it.
No, don't do it.
No, but he either ignored me or didn't hear me.
He ignored you.
He tiptoed over to the doorway, which was pointless given that he'd be shining a light into the room. However, he never even turned that light on, because before he could, a distinct, quiet, short yet sharp laughing or cackling could be heard coming from inside the room. It sounded like an older woman's cackle.
Oh.
It was the most disturbing moment of my life. Brian screamed, run, and we both ran down the 10 flights of stairs and back out the window we climbed in through. We continued running all the way back to my car and drove out of the woodsy property. We swore to never go back there, and we haven't.
Good thinking.
The thing that sucks is that we usually recorded our visits to places like this. And one of the few times we didn't, the most disturbing moment of my life took place.
It has to be that way sometimes, huh? Like in the movies. Alright, let's see what story 2 is about. Here we go. Let's make it full screen. Come on.
It happened one night when my parents and I were hearing noises coming from outside of our farmhouse. The best way I could describe the noises were various types of cracking and thud sounds. My dad and I met in the living room to discuss what we should do.
I just stayed at a farm a few weeks ago. My aunt's house. Like, My aunt and uncle own a farm. And yeah, I'll talk more about that in a future video.
To discuss what we should do, because we were positive that there must have been people out there stealing our produce. My
Oh,
dad ran to his gun closet and
Story's
drew
already
a
gangster.
shotgun, and together we stormed outside into the night, turning on all of the lights mounted on the outside walls of the house. My dad apparently saw somebody because he started yelling stop as he ran to the crops.
Russell, anybody?
I followed him, and I too started to spot legs running underneath the crops. The legs of 2 or more people.
So it's
My dad
a
called on
group.
me to keep up with him as he chased down the thieves in the dark, approaching the woods. After running about 50 feet into the woods, my dad stopped and reached out his arm to signal for me to stop as well. As I was choking for air while out of breath, I watched my dad as he stood in place, looking around us. I swear we were standing still for like 30 seconds in silence. I didn't have the energy to ask what he was doing, but eventually I caught on. I saw what my dad was looking at.
Body?
There was a person standing about 10 feet away from us, but all I could see was his face, since he was mostly covered by a bush. The sound of an October leaf crunching nearby revealed there to be another person standing only 10 feet away. As my dad and I looked around more carefully, we realized there were more than just 2 guys watching us.
Oh,
There were
God.
7 or 8 or 9 or even more. My dad slowly looked back at me, and then back at the person closest to him. What made the scene so much more disturbing, we could only see the people's faces, which were partially illuminated by the moonlight. My dad took a few steps back and broke the silence by saying, "We're leaving." We both started walking backwards, noticing the people were inching closer at the same time. My
Yeah,
dad waved the shotgun around to let them all know he was armed. When we made it past the tree line and back onto the property, we sprinted back to the house. I'd never seen my old man run so fast in his life.
Oh.
He slammed the door behind him and watched the windows with the gun still in his hand, while I called the sheriff's office.
Good thinking, good thinking.
The cops took a while to respond, about 15 minutes, and
What?
the 2 officers that showed up were very unhelpful. They only asked questions and took down notes. They didn't actually go looking for the group we encountered. The cops left within 10 minutes, but
It was an inside
it didn't
job.
matter,
It's an inside job.
because
They were
by
involved.
the next day, nothing happened. So we assumed it was over, and it was. There was never any follow-up to this.
Buy a drone and, you know, and have it go explore that area. Like, spy on them. Through a
A
camera.
friend and I were on a road trip from South Carolina to Jersey, where
Oops, sorry.
we'd be meeting with a bunch of friends.
My,
We left late in the day to avoid traffic.
my grandparents' home number phone ringtone. I like this
We're
footage of
somewhere in Maryland,
driving
when
on the
my
highway.
friend had to get off the highway to find the nearest bathroom.
Is this what
I don't
highway
mean
is
to
this?
piss. I mean he had
Could
the
we reckon?
runs all
Is
of a
that New
sudden
Jersey?
and needed to go really badly.
Maryland?
We were driving around some desolate town looking for a place for him to go. There was practically no traffic and all the store lights were off.
Maybe it's
The
an
place was a
abandoned
ghost
town like from House of Wax.
The further from the highway we got, the quieter and creepier the surroundings got as well. Eventually,
Not a
we
good
came
setting.
across a small 24-hour ghetto-looking Dunkin' Donuts.
I
It
just
was
went
an
there this
outlet,
morning.
though, so we had to pull around the strip to a basically hidden parking lot around back. There was not a single other car in the
Dunkin'
lot.
Donuts.
It was so hidden that nobody would ever find it unless they were looking for it.
What?
We knew we were in a sketchy area, so I begged him to
I
just
bet.
hurry back. He said he'd be back in no less than half an hour,
He's leaving you
as he
alone.
cracked a smile, reminding me of his annoying humor. He
Come
ran
on, not
off
the
around
time
the
I'm scared.
building as I sat in the car, windows rolled.
It's not even Halloween yet. I mean, it's gonna be Halloween soon. They're gonna start doing decorating commercials soon. It's August, it's summer at the time of recording, and like
up and doors locked. A pretty bad motion sickness was still wearing off.
I actually can't wait for Halloween this year though.
So I figured it wouldn't hurt to step
Oh,
outside.
and before you ask, I have no idea what I'm gonna be for Halloween, but I have a good few ideas. And like I don't have number one idea.
For half a minute
Not really.
just to get some fresh air. As I stood outside in that lot, I was constantly examining my surroundings. It took me a while to take notice to somebody standing all the way down at the far side of the parking lot. Now, it was dark, but I could still tell they were facing the direction of the car.
Obviously.
In direct response to that, I
It's a
got
scary
back
story.
in the car and locked the door once again. I guess that was a bad move, because the person at the end of the lot started slowly yet menacingly approaching the car. Maybe whoever that person was saw my reaction as cowardice, and therefore saw me as an easy target. Either way, I texted my friend to come back right away since he had the keys and explained why.
Wait, is that thing
The person
moving?
was getting closer, slowly but surely. I desperately stared at the screen, awaiting my friend's response, just like a guy awaiting a response from his crush. By the time my friend answered the text, he said, "Wait, for real?"
That thing is moving.
I replied yes within the same 2 seconds. He answered back with, "Shit, laughing my ass off. Alright, be right out." I texted back, "This is serious, dude." The person was a couple 100 feet away at this point. He was so close that I was about to get out of the car and run. My friend came running around the building just in time. He spotted the guy right away and hopped in the car. We took off with only seconds to spare.
Good thing you did that.
We stopped a couple blocks down the road to catch our breath and discuss. My heart was still racing and I was still in panic mode. Meanwhile, my friends started to find it more and more hilarious. Eventually, far enough into the ride, I was able to laugh about it. But still, it was scary and still is scary to think about what would have happened if that person made it to the car.
Don't think about
Maybe
that.
nothing. Maybe he
Maybe
just
nothing
wanted
bad.
change. Or maybe a lot worse.
But why would he wait for you to react? It definitely would have been a lot worse, but good thing. What matters is that he's okay. Yeah, that was creepy. These videos are good, man. I'm gonna keep doing more. Here comes, yeah, Miss Nightmare is really awesome. You gotta be careful out there, people. Creepy stuff. Here comes subscribe and favorite, talk to people later. Peace. And have a good summer. Hope everyone's have a good summer, people. Mr. Nightmare, subscribe and put link. I'll put the link in his channel in the description.